In February of 2018, Plaza Theater Company moved into its new home at Dudley Hall. This is the story, and that is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Ba-bum.
My name is Aaron Siler.
And I'm Milette Siler.
And we co-directed this show. First off, let's talk about how the show ended up being the first show in the building. So what was the first show we were supposed to do in the building?
Still no news. It was the number one show of the year.
That's right. But as you know, with construction, it always takes longer than you expected.
Always. I mean, in any aspect, right? Even in the theater business, we're not immune from that.
So we had already planned to do Hunchback of Notre Dame as our second show. The amazing thing is Milette and I have an incredible connection with this show.
We did. We do.
When we saw a live stage production of it at Disney World's, what was the MGM Studios, they called it then. Now it's Hollywood Studios.
Yes. And so if you haven't been to Disney World, it's not just rides. They have live stage productions there, and they're incredible quality. We're sitting down to watch, and if you're familiar with the Hunchback of Notre Dame, it just has this... Do you want to talk about the opening number?
Oh, it just has this amazing opening number. We're going to get to the opening number here in a second.
And Aaron and I are transfixed with this amazing theatrical performance with puppetry and the costuming and the absolutely stellar Disney quality of live performance that we've just become accustomed to. We were kind of disgusted because the rest of the crowd is not really appreciating the massive amount of beauty. I felt like it was a little bit of pearls before swine, but we hope that someone knew that, that really just resonated with us and struck a chord.
Well, if you're not familiar with The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the music was written by Alan Menken, and this guy has written a lot of the major films that Disney has put out in the past few years. He wrote the music to The Little Mermaid. He wrote the music to Beauty and the Beast. He wrote the music to Aladdin. I mean, he is the guy that writes music for Disney films, and he himself claims Hunchback of Notre Dame as his masterpiece, that this is his magnum opus that he wrote. It is highly orchestral, and so when we heard that it was going to the stage, to a stage production, Milette and I got very excited because we love this show. And we love the music of it. And we found out that it actually never made a Broadway transfer. The great thing about YouTube is you would see some video clips of this production, and it was beautiful, and it was stripped down, and it was very theatrical. In fact, they made the choice to not put Quasimodo in prosthetic makeup to show full facial distortion. Instead, they just used makeup as an abstract form, just black lines across his face to show that he was a disfigured person. And because the key to the show is the story. But one of the beautiful parts of that show, or I would say the first 12 minutes of a single piece of music, a single work of art that gives all of the exposition that you need to set up the show. And that is the origins of Quasimodo and the origins of Frodo.
Yes.
What makes them tick? Where did they come from? How did they get to where they are? And in our production, the opening number, we had this new tool at the theater, and that was the turntable.
Yep.
And so we're like, we got this turntable. We need to use this turntable in the first few minutes of the show. And we did. And the huge growth of the show. Here's a look at that clip.
the city awakes to the bells of Notre Dame.
The fisherman fishes, the bacon and bakes to the bells of Notre Dame.
To the big bells as loud as the thunder.
To the little bells soft as the song. And the songs say the soul of the city is the toll of the
bells of Notre Dame.
On the morning of January 6, 1482, the good citizens of Paris gathered at the cathedral
To listen to the sermon of Don Claude Froment, Archdeacon of Notre Dame, before whom the congregation trembled
as he stopped beneath the lofty arches of the church.
Congregants, we gather here in this vast symphony of stone on the morning of the Feast of Fools. Our streets will soon be filled with those unsavory elements, criminals, foreigners, and gypsies who have infested our city and who are on this one day free to roam the street without fear of arrest. Beware the temptations of those less devout than we. We must fight the urge to indulge ourselves. For remember, we are all born sinners.
4 years ago did this story begin in this place called Notre Dame.
Two orphan brothers were both taken in by the grace of Notre Dame.
Claude the older who cared for his brother,
Young Jehan, full of beauty and charm. And they lived and they grew and awoke to the music of bells.
the bells of Notre Dame. Oh, dear brother, 'neath these arches and this sacred door, blessed to find our sanctuary and our home.
Brother, come with me. I'm going into town for a little fun.
Jehan, you must stay here and write out your catechism.
No, you must come with me to the bar.
I will not lie for you again if you stay out late.
Yes, you will. Oh, brother, you are so good to me.
Righteous Claude Frollo was ever more drawn like the sun to Notre Dame.
Not like his profligate brother Jehan, who have none of Notre Dame.
Though as brothers they loved one another, Frollo watched in despair and alarm.
As Jehan grew more wild and defiled all the laws.
The laws of Notre Dame. Jehan, where have you been? Why weren't you at evening mass?
Well, it's your birthday and we must celebrate. Come, I brought you a gift.
The gypsy girl in our room.
Florica, she's a beauty, isn't she? This is my brother Claude.
Happy birthday, Claude. Don't be shy. I can see you want to. I can see it in your eyes.
Stop it!
Claude! It's Father Dupin. Help me hide her.
What is going on in here?
Nothing, Father.
Is it Claude?
Tell him, Jehan. If you won't, I will. Come here. There!
You must leave Jehan, this holy refuge where you dwell.
No, Father, please.
Sorry, Claude, but I've no choice. Your brother is expelled.
Jehan,
What did you think they would do? Who do you think these people are?
these people have given us a home and comfort and safety.
Comfort. You call this comfort? You call this safety? Well, you can have it. You're welcome to it. And Jehan
And the girl.
left.
And Frollo didn't hear from his brother for several years.
Meanwhile, Frollo ascended uncommonly fast through the ranks of Notre Dame, till he was named the Archdeacon at last and gave thanks to Notre Dame.
Until one joyful day brought a message.
And the name that it bore was Jehan.
And concealing his face, Frollo stole to a place far away from Notre Dame.
I'm Father Frollo. I was told to come to this place.
We've heard about you.
Jehan!
Brother dear,
Where have you been?
traveling, hounded from city to city with my beautiful Florica.
Gypsy girl, you with her?
She died 6 weeks ago. The pox. Terrible thing to watch her suffer.
Brother dear, come home with me. Let me take you back. Brother dear, please come with me. We will find the remedy, and Notre Dame once more will be a sanctuary. Healing you will be my goal. Not just your body, but your soul will be together in our holy sanctuary.
Enough, Claude! Enough with your pieties. It's too late for it now anyway. But if you've truly discovered charity at this late date, there is someone you can't help.
Yours? It's a monster. It's God's judgment on you. The wicked shall not go unpunished.
I should have known. I was a fool to think you would ever look after him.
Look after him. Me?
He has nobody else.
He is a gypsy child.
And mine. Please, if you can find it in your heart.
Jehan! Sent me a test. This child is my cross to bear. I may not have saved my brother, but I will save this thing. A monster like this must be kept hidden away. See this loathsome creature from whom lesser men would flee. I will keep and care for him and teach him at my knee to think like me.
And Frollo gave the child a name.
A cruel name that means half-born. Quasimodo.
Now here is a riddle to guess if you can. Sing the bells of Notre Dame. What makes a monster and what makes a man? What makes a monster and what makes a man?
was so great to play with all of these fabulous people, and had our callback, and we just knew at the callback that we had something special. I know every director says that. It's like looking at your child and saying that my child is special, but I just knew it was going to be something extraordinary.
So when we sat in rehearsal, I showed them the drawings that I had of the layout of the stage and just some of the basic set pieces we're going to do, because we were going to keep the set very basic. And the concepts, because the actors were going to be playing multiple characters, many of them. And one of the characters they would play would be actually a statue, a gargoyle, or a statue of a saint. And we spent a lot of time on character development of that to make sure that these gargoyles and these saints had histories and backstories, and that they were different archetypes. And we actually assigned archetypes for the different people too, so that their interactions would work well.
Yes. So when we looked at the script is broken down by, who says what, based on a different number and a suggestion upon the original production. But they've taken Hunchback and broken it down and done so many different ways. And since they didn't go to Broadway with it, there wasn't a set definitive script that you would think, this line is said by this person, this line is said by this person. So it was, since it's a true ensemble piece, almost like a Greek chorus, that was sort of up to us. So that became my job, and I broke it up into different character groupings. And one group that were the gargoyles, we started shaping their characters. And when I was discussing with Aaron the characters, I would say we started assigning Disney names. This is Gaston, and this is Piglet, and this is, I can't recall all the character names.
This is the warthog from Lion King.
Yes, this is Pumbaa.
This is Pumbaa.
This one's Pumbaa, and I remember laughing along with the cast when I said, kind of like the Kanga, the mom in Winnie the Pooh. That was fun. I think that a lot of my master sheet still has some of those nicknames on there, so that was part of the work, but part of the fun as well.
So then we started rehearsals, and we had Tabitha Ibarra come in, and there actually is not much dancing in the show, but we did have her sit and choreograph some of the pieces that happened primarily in the first act and a few in the second act. And really made that come together beautifully. We had Kurt Corley, and one thing that we had him do was bring out a whip, and at one part to help show the anguish that Quasimodo went through, and we would simulate Quasimodo getting cracked by the whip, and in the round the audience is not necessarily that far away.
Nope.
So when that whip would crack, it would really crack and just resonate in the room. So the show started to come together, but the problem is that we could not get on the stage. The stage was actually just a wood frame, because it had two difficult parts of it. One is it had a turntable in it that had to be fully functional before it could be covered. But secondly, all the seating and the aisles of the seating are curved, which take a lot longer to construct to get all of that right. And so we couldn't even walk on the stage until we were a week away from opening. I think
true.
Less than a week was.
Yeah. We've done so many productions, and we've had so many great performers, but watching the performers really pull for each other and cheer for each other, and I think part of that is having to bond so closely with each other and go through the stress of not understanding exactly what everything is going to look. We required a lot of them. We were upfront about that, but that doesn't make it less stressful. It was hard, and it took a toll. It was tough. You can either turn on each other, sometimes that happens, or you can bond more closely together, and our cast really made the great choice of bonding more closely together. I believe, to this day, they're still quite close with each other, good friends.
And speaking about the music, one thing that just made the music come together, because we had very talented people in the cast, but then we had Meredith Browning as our music director, and she was incredibly talented, especially for this style of music, because this was difficult music.
Oh gosh. Yes, she's a leader. She has an assurance, and she was able to imbue confidence with the group. She was just the best choice we could have made for that show.
Really, the entire production team was all-star. I mean, not only Meredith, and like I said, we had Tabitha's choreography. We had Tina Barris as the costume designer. We had the lights by Cameron Barris, who has become an incredible light designer. And it was extremely difficult in this because nothing had been lit in this space before. All of these lights were brand new. The lighting plot was completely new. It was a huge lighting plot. In the round, you have to light all 360 degrees, and so it was a lot of lights.
Pretty extraordinary. And that sound designer, who is that sound designer?
That was me.
Oh, that's Aaron Siler on the sound design.
I love doing the sound design on the show. And we also had Wendy Searcy doing the set design, and she had actually built these statues of gargoyles and saints that set up on what we call the pie pieces in the theater, and she had designed this fabric piece that was printed digitally and glued and shellacked to the floor of our turntable of the rose window at Notre Dame Cathedral. And just beautiful set piece. We had this tower that she had actually come up with, a wonderful idea that we used in the show, and gave us some great levels.
Multiple pieces.
So in the show, Quasimodo actually speaks to his friends, the gargoyles and the statues, and we had seen productions where for the gargoyles they had some kind of weird hat with a nose on it or something like that, and we wanted something that was more. And so what we wanted actual masks that could be used by the actors. There was not enough time for the actors to put on some kind of gargoyle costume, and so the mask is something they could grab and then manipulate in a very theatrical way and make these gargoyles real. They would embody the gargoyles, and they would speak to the gargoyles, and they all had different things that not only they represent in Quasimodo, but different needs of their own that they wanted to help influence him to do. So these masks were made by Mark and Deb Dandridge. They actually made them in paper mache, so they're very lightweight, which was perfect for the actors because with their light weight, they could easily move them around and manipulate them in a way that really just made those scenes soar. When we were 2 weeks away from opening, the construction people told us that really they needed another 2 months.
Now, in defense of these guys, their job is, these guys were doing quality work.
They really were.
And from their point of view, we were crazy theater people. And they're just trying to get to do their job. No, so we totally got it.
Well, if you've ever built theater sets, I mean, they're made with a lot of, duct tape and
slap it together. A lick and a stick. There you go.
Right.
So these guys are like,
they're quality contractors.
Yes, and we really appreciated the work they did. So it was constantly trying to express the show must go on concept to them.
Opening night to the Hunchback of Notre Dame was pretty amazing. We were sold out.
We were.
And the show started, and we had this incredible sound system. It's like trying to drive a Ferrari in a residential neighborhood. The sound system that we have in this theater is amazing. And when the show started and we did the opening, those first 12 minutes, and at the end, the audience just sat there shocked. No applause. I had actually start the applause to remind them that you're in a theater production.
Oh.
And then when they started applauding, it was just cheers. And because the show was shockingly beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
We do a lot of theater, and we do a lot of shows. And you hate to say that some shows are your favorite. It's kind of like picking between your children. But this show, I would definitely say, is one of my favorites. And the fact that I got to do it with my lovely wife was an amazing thing.
It was really extraordinary. Yeah, thank you to everyone who helped make it amazing. And I hope for everyone who was involved that it has, whether you participated backstage, on stage, or came and saw the production, that it resonates with you and it's a lovely memory for you as well.